Hello, and welcome to today's issue of Chapter by Chapter for Eye of the World. I am your host, Will Cowan, and like always, is my co-host and my good friend, Steve Haynes. Steve Haynes, how you doing today, my good friend?
I am doing great. I'm ready to kick off the week.
Yeah?
And I'm ready to start it with today's episode, Chapter 11, The Road to Taren Ferry.
Is it Taren or Taren?
What did they say on the audiobook? I read this one.
Taren.
Taren it is.
Taren? Just go by what the audiobook here
Always.
said. Always. Yeah, and we're picking up where we left off last week, where the adventure is starting. We are on the adventure now. We are on our way to the ultimate destination here is Tar Valon. But right now, they're just trying to get across the river called the Taren, which is a northern river that is it's a river that's north of Emmons Field,
Along the North Road.
And to get to their first city, their first kind of like point for their journey, they have to cross the Taren River, and the only way to do that is to get to the Taren Ferry. But it's a long way to go there, and so right off the bat, they're like hauling ass. They're hauling ass through the forest. But like we said in the last episode here, they're being pursued.
Yeah.
They saw a Jakar in the sky, but as they're like,
but it didn't see them.
So they're still safe for the moment. But as they're riding through, they start getting tired, and they decide to take a little bit of a 2-second break, even though Lan is like, what are we doing? Like, we got to keep going. Like, we're literally not out of the woods yet. We still have to keep going here. And
yeah, well, Tom wants to stop. Tom wants to go celebrate a little Beltane.
Yeah, because
Beltane.
Yeah, because where they stop, it's actually just outside this other town, this Two Rivers town called Watch Hill. Yeah, and as they're just outside the town, and as they can kind of see inside to the town, they see like a bunch of lights and stuff and some party, because they're celebrating their Beltane. And yeah, Gleeman's like, I want to party.
He's like, guys,
come
they're having
on.
a Beltane celebration over there.
Come on,
they got charcuterie boards.
But as they're kind of talking,
the whole thing though, beyond that, is like, yes, he wants to go party and he wants to go take part of it, and some people want to take a break. But the main thing is they're pointing out, like, it's a town where no Trollocs have been. There have been no Trolloc attacks there.
Yeah. There is no attack there, and they're like completely oblivious to the whole event that happened in Emmons Field. So it just goes to show more that like Moraine is right, and it was a targeted attack looking for these kids that are on this quest right now. You know?
Yeah. So it's not just random. It's clearly they're after them, and so Lan is like, no, we have to cross the river, and everyone protesting is like, well, listen, I know you're saying that, but like, look how tired the horses are.
Yeah.
The horses need sleep. And then Moraine starts just going boop, 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 and just healing them horses up.
Yeah. which I started thinking like, well, like she did the same thing to Tam. I think
it seemed a lot more difficult.
But these horses aren't like on death's door. They're not being poisoned or anything like that, but they are tired. And as she's just like kind of like petting them and like transferring her force energy into them, it's just kind of giving them
it filled up their stamina bars.
Yeah. It maxed out their stamina stats, so they can continue on with the quest with the rest of the party. But as she's doing this, they hear a screech from above them, and a Jakar flies just above them, and it basically like it sees them. The Jakar sees them.
I love the description of the scream, because it says a man. It sounded like a man dying under sharp knives. No.
That's amazing. I mean, that would be terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's so loud that it startles everybody. And most specifically, Rand's horse, Cloud, freaks out and bolts with Rand on top of him.
I feel like we don't talk enough about the horses' names, but they're good ones.
Well, I was kind of debating that when we were talking about this chapter. It was like, should we mention like the horses' names? Because it's kind of important. Rand is on a horse named Cloud. Egwene is on Bella, which is
because he loves Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, loves Final Fantasy VII. It's got a beautiful blonde mane and a giant sword.
Yep. And Egwene rides, Bella.
Bella. Who's Tom riding again?
I don't have the name of Tom's horse.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I think we get some of the names, or we got more of the names.
We'll get them as we go, but I think from now on we need to acknowledge all horses.
Yeah, as
I kind of want to do an all horse episode.
Yeah, why not? What's the problem with that?
We'll do it for next year's Beltane.
I wonder if there's a specific date for Beltane, you know?
Probably in a month that doesn't exist.
We'll make it exist. Let's just make it like a Christmas.
So the Drakkar is screaming like a man stuck under a bunch of knives, and Lan goes into serious soldier mode.
Yeah.
And he's like, everyone get on them horses in the back, let's move.
Let's roll.
And then some chase music starts, and they are on the move.
Yep.
And being pursued by a Drakkar.
Yeah.
Now, I think before we go any further, because we've already said the word Drakkar a lot.
Yeah, we should jump into that glossary.
With our equivalent of the glossary, because the Drakkar is not in the glossary, but I found I found a little something to say about it on Wikipedia.
Are you on the regular Wikipedia or the Eye of the World Wikipedia?
I'm on the Eye of the World Wikipedia.
Cool. Okay, go on. Proceed.
The Drakkar are remnants of humans, most likely created by the Agenor with the other shadow spawn in order to assist the Dark One. The Drakkar appears as a tall man, but the pale skin and the large, soulless eyes set them apart. They can also shroud themselves in their huge bat-like wings, which enable them to soar across the skies when hunting, like a bird of prey. Drakkar can attack from overhead and cause some damage, but their strength does not lie in physical blows. Although they have sharp talons on their hands that can catch you as they fly, a Drakkar's main attack is their kiss. When in close proximity, the Drakkar can hypnotize a victim with a soft, murmuring song, drawing the victim in before devouring the life and soul from the person. A lifeless shell is left. Sometimes it appears as one of the living dead. Other times it looks like a body, dead 2 days, with no marks on it. Dun dun.
I love kind of how specific that entry is. Whoever wrote that Wikipedia page entry, maybe it has to do with the plot later on, but like the fact that it looks 2 days dead, not 3, not 1. 2 days
3 days dead is when things start to get a little gross. 2 days dead is when things look real dead, though, but not, too gross.
It looks real dead, though, but not that gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, they're flying away from Man-Bat.
Yeah. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah. Man-Bat mixed with like poison ivy.
Yeah. That's trying to kiss him.
Yeah. Just screaming like a man stuck under knives. Flying at you. Like, is he naked? Does he have a dick?
I've got a picture in front of me, and
we have genitals.
I can't tell, but I am disturbed by what I'm looking at.
There's no lady Drakkars, right?
That is yet to be seen. I have no idea. I would assume so.
I mean, they look like a tall man, but they're not.
They're Batmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're Batman. They're Man-Bats.
Man-Bats. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think it has to come up. It has to. I don't know. I think it depends on the personal preference of the Mirajal and probably even Balsamon. You know,
Yeah.
maybe
All
they're
right.
like, maybe they decide like the women Drakkar might be more fit for a different thing, or maybe they're just more powerful. I don't know. I'm trying to be very politically correct here.
Well, hopefully we find out
Yeah.
in the weeks to come. Weeks and
So
days to come.
as the Drakkar is coming after them, somebody yells something, and then Moraine goes like, we can't fight it. Like, it's too strong. You can't even, like, even if when you can see it, it's hard to fight it. And then she starts summoning a fog around them, kind of like like a smoke screen. And this is kind of becoming not a problem, but something that I'm noticing with this this whole one power true source thing is that it's becoming whatever the plot needs it to be. Now
It can be anything.
It could be anything. Like, really, it could be anything. Like, she could probably like shoot a projected image of a giant troll monster thing to distract the Drakkar, but she doesn't do that. She does a fog instead. But that, you know what I mean? Like, it's starting to become whatever the plot needs it to be. And I don't know if I have a problem with that, because, like, you know, I grew up with Star Wars, and the Force is that. The Force is whatever.
Well, the force used to have rules. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's.
I don't want to get into it.
That's a different podcast. But you know what I mean? Like, we don't know the exact rules yet. Maybe there's more rules to this than we know, because there's
for sure rules. I mean, there's 14 books in this series.
There's got to be rules. There's got to be a little bit of a rule book in there, just a tiny one.
Yeah, it's a handbook.
Exactly. So she sets up the fog, and they finally make their way to Taren Ferry, where they meet Master Hightower, who's
and it's like, I just want to say, like, it's like dense fog. Like, they ride through that fog for hours.
Yeah, and I think there's a passage in the book where they're just like, they can't see 2 feet in front of them sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess that's what they have to do, because that Drakkar like needs to tell that Drakkar can mess them up, man.
Yep.
You know,
but yeah, they meet. Sorry, go ahead.
Or the Drakkar would tell the Mirajal, the Fade, where they are, which could be even worse.
Oh, that's way worse, because then they both know where you are.
Exactly. So yeah, they get to Taren Ferry, and they meet Master Hightower, who's a curmudgeony old man, and they're like, "We gotta cross the river," and he's like, "Are you kidding me? No, I don't want to cross."
It's the middle of the night, and it's foggy everywhere.
I'm old, and it's foggy.
Come back when it's daytime and no fog.
No fog, and yeah, and they give him a bunch of gold.
The warder gives him a bunch of gold.
Yeah, the warder gives him a bunch of gold, and then he says, like, "We'll give you half more when we cross the river." And he looks at the gold, and he goes, "I'll be back."
Yep, and that does it. That does the trick for our group, and that does the trick for this episode, because that is the end of the chapter.
Yeah, they're still in hot pursuit, or being in hot. What's the proper way to say that?
I wouldn't say hot pursuit. They're being pursued, but they've escaped for the time being.
Yeah, they've got away just enough to get across to start their journey across the river. But we won't know how that goes until we get into it tomorrow with chapter 12.
I like to think that the Drakkar just flew around in circles for 4 hours in the fog.
He's a slack
knife man screaming at nothing.
Just a slacker Drakkar that's like not really trying that hard.
No, it's trying. It's just lost in the fog.
Oh, really? I had a different arrow. It's just like, I scared him. I couldn't find him.
Hey, shut up. But aren't we all a little lost in the fog? Thank you. And that is this week's episode. And we will see you tomorrow for chapter by chapter. Chapter 12. Chapter 12. Come on. It's a good one.
Come and get it. Yeah, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thank you so much.